Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the best cash game plays on the NFL main slate for week 1. NFL is back, cash games are back. Cash games week 1 through 3 are a little bit rougher than the rest of the season will be, but you gotta get through it. I still love to play cash NFL. Cash NFL is really the only sport I play cash games in. I hate playing cash NASCAR, I hate playing cash NBA, especially hate playing cash. If you're playing cash golf, you're just crazy. So cash college football and basketball I don't play. I just don't like playing cash games, but in NFL I love it. This is the one sport I do love getting the cash because I think it's the most, in my opinion, everyone says NBA is the most predictable sport, but I think NFL is really predictable, honestly. Especially like for GBP upside, maybe not, but you can predict who's going to get the ball a ton. So, but before I get into all of that, if you're new to this channel, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment. All those things really help me out. I've had a lot of growth throughout NBA and NASCAR season. Now NFL's here. We've already had some growth this week. One of my showdown video for the Thursday night, for the game last night, got a ton of views, got a ton of subscribers off of that, so that was awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. If you're new here from that, thank you so much. Make sure to share the videos, share my channel with someone, just help me out a little bit here. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. If you want to subscribe to more of my content, my Patreon is in the link in the description below. For only $10 a month, you're going to get basically an article for every single position every single week. On Draftkings for the main slates, you're going to get an article for all 3 showdown slates, like the main showdown slates, like Thursday, Sunday, Monday. I'm not going to do those every single game they have every 4:30 game a showdown. I don't play those. I'm not going to not a lot of people play those, so I'm not going to make content for those. But and I also will just have all my rankings out for pretty much every single position by salary rating, by salary tier. Then I also will have all my top stacks, all my top cash plays ranked. I guess I'll have the stacks ranked, and then just matchups ranking. So just a ton of stuff over there that you can go check out. Oh, and then my injury notes and my beat reporter notes from Thursday and Friday practice reports. So that's for the injury video coming out tomorrow. So be sure to stick around for all of that stuff. And I got my Sunday night video that I'm going to make after this one. So be sure to check out all that stuff. If you want to follow me on social media, Twitter's at DFSNateLane, Instagram's at NateLane_. So be sure to check all of that out as well. But yeah, I think that's really all I got to say on all that. So let's get into this video. All right, so NFL cash. So the best thing to target for me in cash is to go for targets, volume. You want to go for volume. And for quarterbacks, it's not as much volume, but for tight ends, running backs, you want to get a guy that's going to get the ball at least 20 times a game, and he's going to get usage in the air. And that's depending on price, obviously. If you're getting a guy for $4,000, yeah, maybe you don't need 20 touches per game, but if they are, that's a lock. But you just want to get volume. For wide receivers, you want to get guys that are going to get at least 7 to 9 targets for the more upper price guys. And if you can get guys that are going to get 5 targets for the very minimum, then that's always fine too. So those are the kind of guys you look for in cash. And in tight end, same thing. I usually try it in cash just to go cheaper at tight end because I would rather pay up for other positions that I think are safer, like running back and receiver. So for tight ends, I usually try to go a little bit cheaper and get the guys that are going to get volume that are very underpriced for their volume. But we'll start off the quarterbacks. And for quarterbacks, I just like to look for guys that are playing against soft defenses in higher total spots that are that are not expensive. I do not pay up for quarterback. I'm not playing Lamar Jackson. I'm not playing Russell Wilson in cash or Drew Brees in cash. I'm just not. They have upside, but you can get very similar scores at the same relative price. And we'll start off with Cam Newton, who I think is probably going to be the most popular cash play quarterback this week. $6,100 playing Miami Dolphins. They have a solid matchup in the offensive line. They have a very positive matchup in the offensive line versus defensive line. His receivers are N'Keal Harry, Demir Bird, and Julian Edelman. And the opposing corners are Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, and the rookie Noah something from Auburn. Those are actually really good corners, and it is it's only a slightly positive matchup against those guys, but that's not the thing for Cam Newton for me. Is he just gives us that rushing upside, and that's something that you want. That is always good to, if you can get it for cheap in cash. That's something I like to get. Cam Newton, we all know is going to run the ball. That's just what he's been for years now. That's what I like to get after for him. When we go into the total, they're a 42.5 game total, which isn't one of the highest totals on the slate, but it is still solid. They are a favorite team, so they're not going to be throwing from behind, but I just like the matchup, and I like the rushing upside, and I just think it's going to be very, very popular. I still haven't 100% decide on my cash plays, but I'm going to give you 5 players from each of them, and these are all the 5 guys I'm considering for my cash games on Sundays. So Cam Newton, definitely one of the higher options, going to be very, very popular this week, so I definitely like getting there. Overall matchup isn't as good as I think people think. This Miami defense is going to be better this year, but I still think he's just good because he's Cam Newton. He's $6,100 and he has that rushing upside, and it's in a very good offensive line spot. So I do not hate getting into Cam for cash. Carson Wentz at 6,300 I think is another one that's going to be very popular. I think these are probably going to be the two most popular cash plays. Just positive matchups everywhere for him. Like the offensive line matchup's great. They have Desean Jackson and Jalen Reagor is I think back. So I mean I'll edit that, but he'll probably be starting. I'd say wide receiver 2 and Ward's probably stays in the slot, but they might move him to slot. We'll see what the depth chart comes out at today. So, but Jalen Reagor looks like he's back. He practiced in full yesterday, but that's better than either Arcega-Whiteside or Greg Ward. I mean, he's a first-round pick, so he should be better. So good receivers, and then, I mean, Fabian Moreau, Ronald Darby, and Kendall Fuller suck. So that's always nice to look forward. And then we have Zach Ertz, of course, and even Dallas Goedert, who's not on the spreadsheet, going against very good matchup against linebackers. But, I mean, overall, it's just a great matchup. Like, I think Carson Wentz has the best matchup for QBs on the slate. I mean, Mahomes had the best one for the week, but Wentz had the best one on this slate, I believe. So, I very, very much like getting there. 43.5 game total. They are going to be playing from ahead, expected. Like, they're going to be playing a lot ahead with Washington, but I still do like going to Carson Wentz in cash. I just think he's safer. I mean, he's going to get you a good amount of points. He's just got a beautiful matchup. Like, you're not going to worry about the defense really hurting them at all. So, definitely like going to Carson Wentz here. And then we got two guys in the same game who are the same price, Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater. Both of them just have, both these defenses are going to be defenses we're attacking this year, Raiders and Panthers. Like, we're just going to be going after these opposing defenses all year long. They both suck. They're both going to have positive matchups in the offensive line. They're both going to have positive matchups for the receivers. I mean, like, look, the corners for Carolina are Dante Jackson, Troy Pride Jr., and Justin Burris. They all suck, especially Dante Jackson. God, he's terrible. And for Vegas, you have Trayvon Mullen, Damon Arnett, and LaMarcus Joyner as the corners there. So just great positive matchups there for them. When we go look at overall, Derek Carr is a little bit more than slightly better overall matchup than Teddy Bridgewater, but Teddy Bridgewater is expected to be playing from behind. This is a game where I think there's going to be a lot of scoring, and just not a lot of defense. It's going to be a shootout potential game. Like, yes, I know the two best players on each offense are their running backs, but I think there's still going to be a lot of passing just because I think the corners and the safeties on both these teams are garbage. So it's just such a positive matchup for both sides there that I just want to get after it. Yeah, I mean, it's just somewhere I definitely want to attack with Teddy and Derek Carr. Definitely two guys in play for cash for me. Like, and then, like, see, for me in cash, like, quarterback's like the last spot I have. Like, I'll probably just start it by plugging in probably one of those two. And at the end, if I have enough money to give to Wentz or Newton, yeah, I might go up there. But that's not the deal breaker. Like, if there's someone I want, but I can't get Cam Newton, I have to play Teddy Bridgewater, like, I'm okay with that. Anyway, Jimmy Garoppolo, $1,500 against Arizona Cardinals. We're going to have a great positive matchup on the O-line. It's another team that all these teams have just positive matchups everywhere. Great matchup for the run game. It doesn't really affect him at all. But, I mean, Jimmy G, they're going to be playing from ahead. It's just a soft matchup. He's probably my least favorite one out of here. I really don't expect to be playing him in cash, but I just need to add a fifth one. So I don't think he's one of my upper cash plays, but I mean, he's just got a very, very soft matchup, and he's cheaper than the rest of them, so he's definitely fine to go there. He's just may not have a ton of volume. He's not someone who I think goes off, but I think he has safe points at $5,800, so I think he is fine for cash. But yeah, I mean, probably not my favorite here on the slate. I mean, stuff could change. That could make me want to get to Jimmy Garoppolo, but I really doubt it. I'd say those upper four more likely. But if right now, if I had to rank these cash plays, I would probably go number 1, Cam Newton. Number 2, I'd say Teddy. Number 3, Derek Carr. 4, Wentz, and 5, Jimmy G. Those are probably my rankings for now. They could change for cash, obviously. So be sure to, stick around and subscribe to the Patreon. They'll be updated over there tomorrow. So, yeah. But, I mean, all of them are fine. Like, you can't go wrong playing any of these guys in cash. I mean, unless they suck, then you can go wrong. We'll see if this loads real quick. The computer's acting a little slow this morning. But we got tight ends. Mike Gesicki for Miami Dolphins, Jack Doyle for the Indianapolis Colts, Zach Ertz for Philly, Logan Thomas for Washington, and Hayden Hurst for Atlanta. We'll start with Mike Gesicki. He's got a tough matchup, but he's only $4,500, and I think he's going to be like the guy who's getting the ball thrown to him the third most times this year. Honestly, he's probably going to be number 3 in target range for him. So when we go look at overall matchup, it's a positive matchup for Mike Gesicki, but like it's still. Like, New England's still a good defense. Their linebacker group's pretty solid. Everything's pretty solid. But I definitely still want to get... I think he's someone I definitely want GBPs. And I think he's fine for cash. Like, if you have some extra money and you just don't want to play Jack Doyle or something, like, yeah, pay for Mike Gesicki. I don't hate that at all. I think he's a good play. We'll talk about Haydenhurst in a second, which may keep me off of Mike Gesicki a little bit. But, I mean, they're going to be playing from behind in this game. They're not going to be playing for a head against New England. Mike Gesicki is basically just used as a slot receiver. Like, that's pretty much what he is. He's just listed as a tight end. So he's going to get out there. I can see him getting like 5 to 6 targets this game, and that can really pay off at $4,500. So definitely someone I have my eye on. Jack Doyle, like, I hate playing Jack Doyle because I just don't like Jack Doyle. But at $3,600, you can't deny that he's in a good spot today. He plays up against Jacksonville, especially for cash. Only $3,600. Jacksonville's defense sucks. They're just going to be terrible all year. He's got just positive matchups everywhere. And now he's got new quarterback Phillip Rivers, who Phillip Rivers for years has just loved throwing the ball to tight ends. So I think Jack Doyle is going to be one of his favorite targets this year. The game totals the game total is pretty high actually for them. I was kind of surprised when I looked at the totals, but they're one of the higher totals teams on the slate this week. So they are playing from ahead though, but that doesn't really worry me. It's a soft matchup. He should get a good amount of targets, and he's really, really cheap, so I don't hate going there. Zach Ertz at $5,800. If you want to pay a little bit more for tight ends, probably where I'd go. I wouldn't go all the way up to like Kittle or Andrews. I just don't think you should ever play those guys in cash. Unless like outside circumstances where there's just a ton of value and you can just play a stud running back, receiver, and tight end, which happens occasionally, then yeah, I'd go to Kittle. But for the most part, Ertz is probably... He's too cheap. Like, he's just too cheap, and he's going against Washington, whose defense sucks. Like, this is the best match about all the tight ends for me. I just, like, he's probably going to be the number one target in Philly again. Like, he's the number one guy to throw the ball to. He's the best receiver, guy catching a ball on the Philadelphia Eagles, so I don't hate going there at all. I think he's someone that I definitely want some exposure to, especially in GPPs. And then, like, I think he's a good cash play. Like, the volume is going to be safe, and he's just too cheap against a Washington defense that sucks. Logan Thomas, you're going to start to catch a thing. We got 3 Redskins we're talking about today, which I hate talking about, but Logan Thomas is only $2,800. I mean, it's not going to look like a good matchup. It's not going to look like good anything, but he was listed as a starter on Washington, and only like $2,800. If he gets like 3 targets, yeah, you could pay off. Like, he's not like a sexy play at all, but he's such a salary saver. And like, okay, so we have so Washington. I'd say probably 20 to 30, maybe 40, but that'd be crazy. I'd say 20 to 30% of target shares here is going to Terry McLaurin. But then where's the rest of it going? Like, I'm sure Steven Sims will get some. I'm sure Dontrell Inman will get barely any. So, like, Logan Thomas, Antonio Gandy-Golden, but he's not even a starter. So Logan Thomas is going to get some targets. Like, that's going to happen. They got to use one of these tight ends is going to get in there. And I think Logan Thomas, who's apparently been impressing a ton in practice, is probably the way to go. At $2,800, like, he just can't hurt you. Like, there's so many ways that players can hurt you. That's just not a way that it can hurt you. And we're going to get into this. There's viable ways to play 3 Washington Redskins this week. And Philly's defense isn't, like, that good. Like, their front 5 are really good, and their front 7's solid, but their secondary's not. And Logan Thomas, I think, is someone to target. Hayden Hurst, $4,300 for the Atlanta Falcons going up against Seattle. Another very positive matchup all the way around. And this is a game that figures to be really high scoring, as you see out of all the games, highest total game out there, 40.5. They're technically not favored, but it's going to be a shootout game. Going to be a very close game, a ton of scoring. So Hayden Hurst, who figures probably be the number 3 targeted guy on his team, pretty much walks into the Austin Hooper role from last year. At $4,300, I think that's just a very good value for him. I could see him being more of a $5,000 tight end all year long, so I think this might be the cheapest we get him, especially if he pops off this week. So Hayden Hurst definitely someone I have some interest in for cash. If I were to rank these guys for cash plays, I'd probably go number 1, Hayden Hurst. I think I'd go 2, Logan Thomas, honestly. I'd say 3 Doyle, 4 Gesicki, 5 Ertz, and it's only because Ertz is more expensive than these guys. But if you get a lineup that you like and you can afford Ertz, go for it, bro. Like, seriously, I think that's a good way to go. All right, we're going to go to the wide receivers. Again, like Logan Thomas, man, he just can't hurt. He can't really hurt you. Like, he just... unless the rest of your guys suck, which is not his fault, like, he's just not going to hurt you. $2,800 is like nothing. All right, so I have 6 receivers here because I think Desean Jackson is a question mark right now. We got to look at if Rieger plays or not, but... we'll start with Bryan Edwards at $4,200. He's probably my least favorite one out of all these guys personally, but he's starting for the Raiders against Carolina, who's just terrible in defense right now and secondary and everything. But he's only $4,200 and he's going to be a starter. Like, I think Henry Ruggs probably is number 1 wide receiver and Bryan Edwards is number 2, and really he's number 3 in targets because I'm sure Darren Waller will at least be number 1 or 2. So, but Edwards is going to get the ball targeted soon, probably about 5 times this game. And if he's playing against this terrible, terrible defense, only $4,200, if he gets like 4 catches for like 60 yards, it's going to pay off. I mean, in cash, like, you don't need him to necessarily just go absolutely off. So that's a fine day for Bryan Edwards. The matchup's beautiful. He's going to get either Desean Jackson or rookie Troy Pride Jr. Freaking love that. The safeties aren't really that good. Overall, it is a positive match for Bryan Edwards. Not the most positive one we have, which is the next guy we'll talk about, but still a very positive matchup. This is a high total game. It's a game that figures to be a lot of scoring. So Bryan Edwards definitely someone I want to get to. I think he's just got a lot of upside at $4,200, and he has a decent floor. But probably still my least favorite guy out of all of these. Desean Jackson, we got a question mark on, because if Jalen Reagor yesterday was active, he played full practice, and I mean, I guess that means he's playing Sunday. So if Jalen Reagor is playing Sunday, then Desean Jackson probably won't get as many targets. He's still in a great matchup and someone I definitely want in GPPs, but probably not someone I really want for cash anymore. But if Jalen Reagor does not play at $4,900, Desean Jackson is probably the best value on the slate. He's going to be the number one receiver there, and he gets to go up against Fabian Moreau and Ronald Darby. They're just bad. Overall, the best matchup for me on the slate is for receivers is Desean Jackson. So I really like going there if he's gonna be the only really guy out there. Like if he's competing with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Greg Ward for targets, like I'm cool with that. So, but if Jalen Reagor's there, I don't think he's as great for cash, but definitely a tournament viable play. Terry McLaurin, the next Redskin we'll get into. And like I said, like in the last thing, like about the target share, like Terry McLaurin's getting the ball thrown to him like probably 10 times a game this year. Like if he's top 5 in targets by the end of the year, I will not be shocked at all. And if he goes down, I don't know what in the world this team's gonna do at receiver. AGG time, that's what it is. $5,600 for Terry McLaurin. Everyone's like gonna be, oh, Darius Slay. Darius Slay's not that good. He was like the 124th ranked cornerback by PFF last year. Like, I mean, we can go look at Darius Slay's PFF coverage grade. It's a 56.9. That's not good. Darius Slay was really not that good last year, and I just don't think he's gonna I mean, he might be better this year than he was last year, but he's not about to bounce back to the elite stages of his career. Like, he's past that. Philly way overpaid this guy. I mean, he's not terrible, but like he's not. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was last year. I think that's probably one of the worst seasons of his career. But I don't think he's going to be like some shutdown corner like so many Philly fans want to believe. Philly fans sometimes are just so delusional, and I am a Giants fan, by the way, so that I'm a little biased there. But I still don't think Darius Slay's that good. I wasn't ever scared of him last year in Detroit. I played receivers against him all the time, and I'll continue to do it here. Terry McLaurin, he's going to get the ball a ton. They're going to be playing from behind like the whole game. They're going to just be throwing the ball a ton. So Terry McLaurin, even if he doesn't get a touchdown, if he catches 10 balls, it's going to be a good day for him because he'll probably end up with like 20-something points. So Terry McLaurin, someone I definitely want to get after on this slate, especially for cash. I really like him for cash. Davante Adams, $7,300. If you can afford him, go for it, dude. I mean, this guy, he's been tearing up the Vikings defense for like years and years and years. Just the Vikings defense, and it's been with Xavier Rhodes there. Xavier Rhodes isn't even there anymore. The two corners back for him are Holton Hill and Cameron Dantzler. Those are your two starting corners. They're not like good. Like, they're just not like Cameron Dantzler. I'm pretty sure is a rookie, or he didn't play at all last year. And Holton Hill wasn't good last year either. 62.2 coverage grade from PFF. Give me all to Davante Adams. Like, I mean, it's just he's gonna like no one else on that team's getting the ball. Like I talk about, you want volume and upside, and Davante Adams, or volume and floor, and Davante Adams gives you both of those. I think this is gonna be the cheapest we see Davante Adams all year at $7,300. How many games this year is Davante Adams not getting 10 targets a game? Like, he's gonna be getting 10 targets a game so many times this year. It's ridiculous. So, I just love going there. They're supposed to be playing from behind too, but I think it'll be a closer game than that. But I think he's gonna get targeted 45 game total. It's not great, but it's not bad either. So definitely someone I want to get to. Michael Thomas. So I think if you're making lineups, cash lineups, you have to play one of Michael Thomas or McCaffrey. Me personally, I'm gonna go to McCaffrey because that's just been my guy. I kind of always go to McCaffrey. But at $9,000, Michael Thomas in the Dome against Tampa is a great play. These corners aren't as bad as people want to make them out to be. They finished the season very strong last year, but at $9,000 for Michael Thomas, he's going to get the ball probably 12 times at least. So we just know he's got such a high floor. And $9,000 against Tampa in the Dome, I want to get there to one of the higher total. I think this is the highest total game on the slate, actually. So Michael Thomas, definitely someone I want some exposure to. And then DK Metcalf, my last cash receiver at $5,800. Look, DK Metcalf, I think, led the league last year in red zone targets, or end zone targets. Like, he was top 3. So he's just going to get the ball a ton down there. And now you get to go against Isaiah Oliver and AJ Terrell as one of the corners. So you have a rookie that was picked too high, and you have Isaiah Oliver, who was not good last year, guarding DK Metcalf week 1. Good luck with that, honestly. Like, really, good luck with that. I mean, he's just too cheap. I think he's going to have more targets this year than he did last year. Last year, early on in the year, he wasn't getting a ton of targets and they were really inconsistent. But towards the end of the year, he definitely enforced himself as, at least the number 2 receiver on his team, and honestly could be number 1 by the end of the year. So I think his targets are probably going to be more between 7 and 10 every week now. And if he has a back corner on in the whole game, great. And this is a game that figures to be a shootout. Great matchup everywhere. So DK Metcalf, this game figures to be really high scoring, figures to be a shootout. So definitely like going there. All right, I'll rank the cash receivers here. Again, all these guys are fine. So number 1 is going to be Desean Jackson if Jalen Reagor doesn't play. If Jalen Reagor plays, not too high on Desean anymore. In cash, at least. In tournaments, I'm still going to play him. But we'll take him out. So number 1 is going to be Terry McLaurin. 2 will go DK Metcalf. 3 Devontae Adams. 4 Michael Thomas. 5 Bryan Edwards. That's how I like the cash game ranks. But any of these guys are fine in cash. All of them. Next, we'll get to the running backs, where I think there's pretty much 3 you're just going to play. I put 2 more in here, but in all honesty, most cash lineups are going to go Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, Christian McCaffrey. Chris Thompson, well, actually, I'm going to talk about Chris Thompson after I talk about Gibson. Gibson's $4,000, and Darius Geis got arrested and kicked off the team, as he should have, and Adrian Peterson got cut. So Antonio Gibson's the guy, although I think it's going to be a backfield by committee, but I think Antonio Gibson probably gets the most spots in this game. I've already said in my running back videos that Antonio Gibson's probably someone I'm going to stay away from in cash or in tournaments, but in cash I want to get there. He's probably going to get the ball 10 to 15 times this game, and that's fine at $4,000, and he's going to get targeted in the passing game. That's what he did in college. We all know he'll get used in the passing game, and they're going to be a team playing from behind, so I expect him to get some usage. So at $4,000, it's just a great value. You just kind of have to play him. He's going to be the highest owned player in cash, so I think he's somewhere to go to. Then Miles Sanders is $6,300 in that awesome, massive matchup against Philly or against Washington. One of the best matchups on the entire slate. So he's going to get the ball a ton. I know we've had some reports he's going to be limited, but I don't think he's going to be limited that much. He just may not get 25 touches. He might get 18, and I'm still cool with that. They're going to be playing it from ahead. He's going to get the ball a ton. And Corey Clement is limited in practice, so if he's out, it's just Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, and I don't think they want to just run the ball to the middle of Boston Scott, so it's probably just going to be Miles Sanders. I really like going there for cash. He's just way too cheap for all the volume he's going to get. And then Christian McCaffrey. He'll get the ball 25 to 30 times a game at $10,000, and an awful defense, a great matchup. It's just too easy to plug Christian McCaffrey in again with all the value that we have with Antonio Gibson. So these are Chris Thompson's the other value guy, and I guess if you want to go 4,000 guys at running back, you could. Chris Thompson. So, all right, Leonard Fournette got cut. Raquel Armstead's on the COVID list, and now Divine Ozigbo is on injured reserve. So that leaves James Robinson and Chris Thompson, and then they signed Daria Agowamabali. I don't know how to say that name. So Chris Thompson, I'm sure it's going to be really between him and James Robinson, and I think they're both good GPP plays, and I think I just need to add a 5th one to cash, and I put Chris Thompson in here. I just don't think he has as much of a floor as Gibson. I don't really know how much he's going to be used. I think we all know Gibson's going to be used a ton. I'm not sure about Chris Thompson, but I still think he is a good cash play because he does save you money. And then if you're just not looking to pay as much money, a little bit more balanced, you don't want to play McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook is going to have a very similar amount of touches in this game. He's going to get used in the passing game. Packers' rushing defense isn't fantastically great or anything, so definitely someone I want to get who could be a good cash play is Dalvin Cook. We'll rank these. McCaffrey's always number 1. Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook, Chris Thompson. But I think that's really all I got to say on the cash game. Make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, turn notification bell. If you want to subscribe to the page, I'll put the link in the description below, and I'll put my social media in the description below as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Hope you guys have a great week and watch some football. And of course, as always, I hope we win some money this weekend. Let's go.